Let me initial it. Okay, there it goes. Okay, we're going to review. Okay, guys, Zach, this way. We're going to review linearization, writing the equations of tangent lines. Okay? Everybody in here should be able to write the equation of a line. Christian, put your phone away, please. What is the... I have a clock.
It doesn't work. What works now? It works now. Hey, use the R word. Don't use the D word.
Okay, what's the equation of a line? Zach, what's the equation of a line? No, we are not going to use y equals mx plus b.
Why? I can't tell you why.
Because it's easy. So if this is my point, what's the equation of the tangent line? Y minus f of a. What's the slope there? F prime of a. And it's x minus a. Now, if you look here, right here, look at all the problems. I didn't do 97. But look at all the problems with the linearization tangent lines on them. Plus, they're always on a free response as well. So, you got to know how to do this. How do you know if you have an overestimate or an underestimate? What determines that? When you look at the picture, it's the concavity. So that's concave up. I wouldn't memorize it. I would just draw the picture and say, oh, this is an underestimate. If I use this tangent line to approximate my function here, it's pretty close. As long as I stay close, I'm okay. Well, let's do some problems. That's all there is to say about that. And, you know, I probably give you some. And I'm sorry that it's crooked, but that's the way it is. Now, they give you too much information here, but that's okay. Okay, so this is 2008, so if you want to get your 2008 exam out, I'll wait. Or you can just write them down on a piece of paper. I just think it's hard to see. It's not the greatest picture in the world. 2008. I have no idea. This is multiple choice. Then, if we have time, we'll do some free response. Now, 97, 98 multiple choice is what's on the AP Calc CD. Right, and the numbers that are in the calculator section are going to start in the 70s. So this is 24, so it'll be the first part. They do, I don't really know why they do that. I guess so you realize it's calculator or non-calculator later. Because on the exam, it doesn't really matter. So, I'm sorry, what? You were. Do you remember doing this problem? 2008, number 28. F is a twice differentiable function. F of 2 is 1. F prime of 2 is 4. You were supposed to have done this, but I haven't heard any questions. And they give me the second derivative. Now, the second derivative will tell me concavity. So it's concave up. I guess if I want to draw a picture, it kind of is nice to have it. What's the value of the approximation of f of 1.9 using the line tangent to the graph at x equals 2? A lot of you are visual learners. You want to see the picture. I know it's concave up because the second derivative is positive. Okay, you guys ready? So I'm going to draw the tangent line. I don't know what it looks like, really. Although the slope is positive. And this is at the point what? This should be easy. 2, 1. What's the slope there? 4. And I highly recommend you just do the problem, then look at the answers, unless you're stuck. I mean, that's different. Then sometimes you look at the answers to help you with that. So we're going to write the equation of the tangent line. This is what they might refer to it as linearization. They might say use linearization. That's all they're asking you to do. So, what are you going to get? Cole, you should be doing the problems. You should be way ahead of me. Will you take a piece of paper out? Sit up front so you can see. Y minus 1 equals what? 4. X minus 2. This is a non-calculator problem. I don't want to do y equals mx plus b, or the arithmetic will be harder. Plus, that was it. That's how long it took me to write the equation. So we will substitute in 1.9, because I'm going to, this is at 2, I want to know what this value is to approximate that. Is that an overestimate or under? Under. What's the point? I don't know. I got to do it. Y minus 1 is equal to 4, and then it's 1.9 minus 2. That's the other reason. You're going to be really close to 2. So y minus 1 equals 4 times 1.9 minus 2 is negative 0.1, right? So y minus 1 equals negative 0.4, and I'll do what to both sides? Yeah. So y equals 1 minus 0.4, which is 0.6. So this is pretty easy, right? No? The next problem's not so easy, if I'm remembering it right. Is that one okay? Okay, I guess I have it in there twice. 26. Well, that's not too bad. What's the slope of the line tangent to the curve of y equals arctangent of 4x? You will not have those nice little signs. That's right. Y equals, I like inverse tangent, but they did it this way. So the derivative of the inverse tangent, this is one you have to memorize, is 1 over 1 plus x squared. And it's not even a tangent line approximation. It's just asking you for the slope of the tangent line. So what's the derivative here? This is a good one to practice with, though. It's 1 over 1 plus, what's my x? It's 4x. Quantity squared, if you don't put the parentheses in, it's wrong, times what? 4. Good, you remember the chain rule. Now, some of you may want to simplify it, but I'm going to put in 1/4 here, so why would I simplify it? So it's y prime equals 1 over 1 plus 4 times 1/4 squared times 4. So that's 4 divided by 1 plus 1. So that's equal to 2. So my answer is A. You would get 1/2 if you didn't do the chain rule. So they put those answers in there. And yeah, just be careful you read through all of them, because sometimes the first answer is not the best answer. You're always looking for the best answer. In this case, there is only one. Doesn't make sense. Okay, I don't know which one I missed, but I missed one of them. But how about 16? Yeah, actually I could probably copy it. I think I have a... Let's see, I should have... Oh, there it is. What's the other one? The derivative of arctangent, inverse tangent, is 1 over 1 plus x squared.
I gotta memorize.
Yes, you do. Everything that's up on my walls there, you have to memorize.
Oh.
I can try to make flashcards on Schoology.
I don't even know if you know.
Or you can make flashcards. Okay, ready for 2003? Now, don't make this hard. This is number 16. If the line tangent to the graph of the function at 1, 7 passes through -2, -2, then the slope at 1 is, or the derivative at 1. So I don't know what the function looks like, but I'm going to draw a little picture, see if I can help you with this. This is 1, 7. And my tangent line, it touches here, and it goes through -2, 2. Are you okay with me not drawing this correctly? We'll put -2, 2 over here. What's true about the derivative and the slope between these 2 points? I told you it's not drawn correctly. What's true about the derivative at 1 and the slope between those 2 points? They are the same. So f prime of 1 equals the slope between those 2 points. And when I do slope, and I've been teaching a lot of slope, because what you're going to make a mistake on probably is with the negative signs. Or you could do this upside down. So I put the parentheses in where I'm going to put my values, and once I determine where 1 goes, then everything else is predetermined. So which y value do you want to put in first? I'm going to use this point and that point. Personally, I like to keep it positive. 7, and then what's the other y value that goes with it? Can't do this wrong. Impossible to do this wrong. -2. Now 7 is partnered up with 1. And what goes over here? -2. You should all be doing this with me. So what's the numerator going to give you? 7 minus a -2. 9. And I like to make this adding the opposite. 3, so the answer is 3. I suppose the other answers are coming from making some mistakes. I don't know how they get undefined, but I guess they had to have something there. So you should be doing these with me. This is 2003, so this is one of the ones you're supposed to be working on this week. Is that one okay? The three responses are a little tougher. It says the function is, let's have you try this. I want to write the equation of the tangent line. If you need me to write it, I will write it so you can see it. F of x is equal to 4x cubed minus 5x plus 3, and x is equal to -1. I want the tangent line there. We got to get our points where we can get them. So if we can get easy ones, this is all messed up. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to get to that page. But right now you can still write it down. I'm going to write that down. And I don't know why my board's messed up, but it is. Oh, I know why. It's my fault. I would do point slope form because it's much easier to go from that to y equals mx plus b. So what's it going to be? It's y minus, oh, x is -1. So what's f of -1? Anybody figure that out yet? No, just f of -1, because you need an ordered pair. It's -4 plus 5 plus 3. Because it's -1 cubed minus 5 times -1 plus 3. So that's a -4.
Yeah, actually.
Well, I don't know what the answer is. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
I'm just showing my work. So there's your ordered pair. So what's the equation look like? Y minus 4 equals my slope. Oh, how am I going to find my slope? The derivative. So a lot of places to make mistakes. What's f prime of x? 12x squared minus 5. So what's f prime of -1? That's going to be 12, right? Minus 5. So the slope is 7, and then it's x minus a -1 or x plus 1. Some of you are going to say, well, I'd rather just go y equals mx plus b. And it's not that bad, it's just extra steps to do that. But now I've got that down, I've got the slope correctly, so it's a, b, or c. So now you have to figure out which one that is. So I'm just going to distribute, and this gives a nice preview for BC Calc. If I add the 4 to both sides, this is what we're going to be doing in BC Calc for at least a quarter, doing approximations. But we're going to go more than just a line. This is 7x. What's the classic mistake? What do you think people will do wrong? Plus 1. Did they have 5? Well, they have a 5 there, but it's not right. So it's going to be 11, so that's going to be that one. See how easy it is when I go from point slope? Just go there. I do point slope, and then I solve for y. You can do y equals mx plus b. It takes you 2 extra steps beyond that, so this is much easier. Are there questions on that? Is that okay, Arteman? That one's pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, now you get some work here. It's just implicit differentiation. Find the slope of the tangent line at 3, 2. Do you remember how to do this? This is going to be implicit differentiation because I can't solve easily for y. I don't even know if I can. So, a little preview to a review session that we'll be doing. Review sessions start next Monday night. We are going, pardon? Monday through Thursday for 2 weeks. And we have different topics. You have to check your calendar as to what the topic is. Did you guys get this when you did this problem? Did you do? Oh, this is 2003. What's the derivative of 3y squared? Alexis? 6y times, but this is with respect to x. Do y dx or y prime? Which do we want to make it? I don't care. You like y prime? I like dy dx. Because I lose the primes. I lose the primes. Minus what? 4x times x prime, but that's 1. What's the derivative of 6? Don't make this mistake. It's 0. Good, Artavan. It's x times the derivative of y plus y times the derivative of x, which is just 1. Now, are you going to solve for y prime, or are you going to substitute in 3, 2? Taking a test. I'm going to substitute. Because I think solving for y prime can be trickier. If you get rid of all the letters, you'll be happier. So I like to just go 6 times y. How much is 6 times y? Yes, I missed it. This equals, there it is, sorry. So 6 times y, it's 3 comma 2, so it's the 2. Is it easy to put the wrong letter in? Yeah. So just relax and say, oh, I know how to do this. This is 12, y prime, minus 4x. What's 4x? 12 equals, there's my equals, you can barely see. And it's a negative 2, and it's x times y prime, which is 3y prime, plus y times 1, which is 3. You can just treat the y prime like an x. Why is this 12? I got 2 12s here. It's 6 times y, 6 times 2, and this is 4 times x, which is 3. Then it's minus 2, x is 3, y prime, plus y, plus, whoops, 2. You said 12. Okay, so we'll just distribute that, and I would have come up with an answer probably not there. So it's negative 6y prime plus, not plus, don't forget to distribute the negative sign. So what do you want to add to both sides? I always do the variables because it causes me less trouble. So what am I going to get? 18y prime minus 12 equals minus 4, and then I'll have to add what to both sides? 12. 18y prime is equal to 12 there and 12 there, so that's equal to what? 8. Divide by 18, I'm going to have to be able to reduce fractions. What goes into 8 and 18? 2. So I'm going to be left with 4 ninths. Is that an answer? I hope. Yeah. Maybe you want to look at the answers and say, okay, I'm going to get a fraction. Math. Math. You got to be doing math in math class. Otherwise, we don't come for the review sessions at night. Because that's my own time and my own gasoline. Okay. Try that one. Oh, this one looks trickier. Yeah. This is 89, which means it's in the calculator section, but you don't need a calculator. Now, would something like this be in the calculator section now with the ability to have a CAS calculator? Because the CAS calculator will do your derivative of this without you doing anything. Actually, you can do that now I think about it. Let f be a differentiable function. So f of 2 is equal to 3. F prime of 2 is equal to negative 5. Now, g is the function divided by g of x equals x times f of x. I want the line tangent to g, not f. So I have to figure out what g of 2 is. G of x is equal to 2 times f of x. And a CAS calculator would do all of this for you. Well, your calculator would do some of it. personally, it's just as easy to do this. It's 2 times f of 2. What's f of 2? 3. Actually, Cass wouldn't help me with that. But if I don't know how to find the derivative of g, the Cass would give me that answer symbolically. Okay, so now I have the ordered pair 2, 6, and I want the equation of the line. Yeah, you should be ahead of me. So I know it's got to be y minus 6 equals g prime of 2 times x minus 2. So it's going to be c, d, or e. So I'm going to have to find the slope. Now, if you have a cast, you can find the slope easily. Do you remember how to find the derivative of that? What rule do we have to do? I need to first find g prime of x. What's g prime of x? It's x times the derivative of f of x, which is f prime of x, plus f of x times 1. Sorry. And then you substitute in the 2. Slope always is going to be a number. It's never, ever going to be a variable. So be careful, because I'm going to give you those for answers. Whoops, I want that to be g prime of 2. So that's 2 times f prime of 2 plus f of 2. Okay, what's f prime of 2? I like these, because it's just a matter of reading the tables here. That's negative 5, isn't it? And what's f of 2? Gotta slide it. 3. Was it negative? Yes. So it's negative 10 plus 3, which is negative 7d. Not sure how they get the other answers. Making silly mistakes. I'm sure that one of them is going to be saying it's g prime of x is just f prime of x. Yeah, that's C. That's not using the product rule. I'm not sure how you get the negative 10. I'd have to study it. Yeah, if you didn't put this one in. Well, they did the 2 times that. And for C, it's just saying g prime of x is equal to the derivative of x times the derivative of f. Okay. I don't want that there. Okay, this is 1998. It is a calculator problem. I remember this one's hard. You will need a calculator on this. Which of the following is an equation of the line tangent to the graph f of x is equal to x to the 4th plus 2x squared? Now, some of you know how to play with your calculators enough to figure this out by looking at graphs. I don't do it that way. I don't even see how you can do it. Okay, so I want the equation of the tangent line. I have a quartic. I want the slope to be equal to 1. So what am I going to do? Take the derivative. This is where you need the calculator. F prime of x is equal to 4x cubed plus 4x. And now I want 4x cubed plus 4x to equal 1. Oh, I have to do this the old-fashioned way. So if you have a calculator out, now I wouldn't do intersections, I would do zeros. I'll have to fix that. Well, that's loading up. Maybe. No, it's an ugly number. Okay, whatever. I would subtract the 1 and look for the 0. So, I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to clear that out, and I want 4x cubed. Where's my caret? I don't know why they couldn't have kept things in a similar place on the Inspire, but they didn't. I like to look for zeros because it's easy. I don't have to worry about the y values. I'm going to zoom at 4, and the reason I've already looked at the answers that they're given, so I know it's not going to be very big. And there it is. There's also, if you're interested, there is a solve button on your calculator. There's the solver in the math menu, which I don't particularly care for. I like the solve button better. Oops.
How'd you do that again?
Second quit. Oops. I graphed. You can do the intersection. It's easier just to subtract it and look for the zeros. Because then I don't have to worry about the height of my window. Because I want to subtract it and not look for this and not look for the intersection point. You know, I don't know what that is. It's a cubic. But I've got to have my window up so I get up to 1. Okay, 1 is not a big deal, but if it's 10 to the 6th, it's a big deal to get my window in the right place. So instead, I would prefer to use this. And I'm giving you a prime example of the intermediate value theorem, which we will hit on. But it says that if I'm looking for a 0, if my function is positive here and negative there, it had to be 0 sometime in between. Has to be. So I could even make my x's go out to 100 if I don't really know what the domain is. So that's why I choose to do that. Oh, now I got to go back this way. I should fix this. No, it's because I... So that's what I did. I just looked for the zeros. I zoomed 4. Most of the time they're not going to have anything far away from the origin. So I go back to my graph. And now I want to do second, calculate, and I want that intersection, that 0. Okay, there's my lower bound. And I have to, if you don't make this go positive, it will tell you that there's no sign change. It uses the intermediate value theorem. And there it is. 0.236. You can't. It's not zero product property. You want to like square root or something? You can't do that. I don't know how to solve that equation. It can be solved. I don't know how. All cubics can be solved. Beyond that, algebraically, but beyond that, all bets are off. You have to know the process. I have no idea what it is because why do I want to? Okay, we're not done yet. Not done yet. That is the x-coordinate. Now what do you have to do? I have to find f of that value, which is 0.2367, whatever. Use all the decimal places, or you might not get the right answer. And so I'm going to use my calculator. Sorry. And if you don't know how to do this, it's kind of nice to do. Now, your calculator remembers both the x and the y. I'm going to go back to my home screen. I'm going to clear that out so we don't have to look at that. If I type in x, I will have that value, 0.23673, etc. So all I have to do is type in x to the 4th plus 2x squared. Just type it in right here, x to the 4th plus 2x squared. And it will evaluate that at that point. I don't have to do anything fancy. There it is, 0.115. What do you get? Did you do the graph? You must have moved your cursor or not found the 0. Okay, so there it is. So if I do a quit and I do x, it should be the right value. And that way you don't have to write it down. You don't have to keep track of it, because there it is. Okay, we're getting closer. Still doesn't look like any of the answers, does it? Okay. That's the y value. So it's y minus this 0.115 equals my slope. What was my slope? 1, right? And it's x minus 0.236. You don't have to show work, but y is equal to 0.115 plus x minus 0.236. Now I want my calculator to do it for me. I probably will come up with the right answer. Okay, so let's get the calculator here again. How do I do that without typing in anything hardly? I want to do what with this? I want to take that one minus 0.236. So I'm going to press enter. I didn't have to press enter, but do minus. And I have the new one. I can actually just go up there and copy it, but let's see if I can get it this way. Second enter. Uh-oh, this might not work. Good point. Okay, so I'm going to do minus. You're right, I had my x. That's even easier. Negative 0.1215, but the 5 will make the 2 round up, so the answer is B. Okay, just 2.5 weeks of hard work, you guys. How about this one? Try this one. This one's not so bad. I want the equation of the tangent line to that curve. I would do everything in points. Well, no, I would do so y equals mx plus b. Why? Because I have what? Try this one. I have b, don't I?
No.
Goes to the point 0, 1.
Okay.
That's b. It doesn't matter. You can do it the other way. But I probably can do this in my head. It's not D. No, do the problem.
What packet is this?
Still 2003, I think. Let me look. I didn't have that many from 98. Oh no, this is the last one. This is 1998. Then we're going to do free response. Should have 1998. I know what the answer is. What do you guys think it is? Because I can do it in my head.
What do you think it is?
Like, that's the derivative, right?
Yeah.
That's the sign of 1 again.
It's not the sign of 1. It's the sign of 0.
Oh, I mixed up the points.
It's easy to mix up the points. Whoa, multiple guess here. Well, it's y minus 1 is equal to m, and it's x minus 0. So I need to find m. What's m? It's the derivative of that. What is that? Minus sine of x. And we will find it at x equals 0. So m equals 1. So y minus 1 equals x. So y equals x plus 1. Why did you want to make it D? Cole, did you work anything out? Unfortunately, no. Because this one's going to go to the other side. If I do y equals mx plus b, because this is easy to do, the slope was 1, so y equals x plus b. 1. Okay? I didn't check for 97 to see what the tangent lines were. But here's a free response. We've done this problem. This is the waste problem. And maybe I should have copied the whole thing because you need to solve that differential equation. I graded this one. It wasn't pretty. Okay. At the beginning of 2010, a landfill contained 1,400 tons of solid waste. Did I do this in here? I don't remember. Okay, 1,400 tons. That was your waste when T equals 0. It says W is increasing. It could be increasing this way, or it could be increasing that way. I'd have to have the second derivative to know. And the differential equation is right there. Use the line tangent to the graph at T equals 0 to approximate the amount of solid waste the landfill contains at the end of the first 3 months. So what are your variables? T and W. T is independent. So what's the equation of the tangent line going to look like? W minus W1 is equal W prime of T, and then it's T minus T1. So try it. I think this was 2 points. Spider-Man, try it. Do you want me to write down and dW dt Now, what my students didn't like is there's no t in there, but I don't care. This is the ordered pair you have. This should not be hard. This is 2011, question 5. This was not a good problem. You will look at the problems and you're going to say, oh, that's just the waste problem, or that's just the tea and biscuits problem. Once you do the problems, you're going to say, oh, they're all alike.
Beautiful day.
Alexis, do you have, it's cool still. Do you have the equation?
What are you going to do today?
Work. No, then I have a meeting. This is a non-calculator problem. Jimmy, do you get it? Do you have it? It's not that hard to do. You guys got to be focused. If you start focusing the week before the exam, that is too late. You got to be focused now. What'd you get for an answer? Takes 2 seconds. Oh, you gonna come up and do this? What's the equation of the tangent line? You get a point for that, I believe.
Y equals 1400 plus 44.
There's no y. Y minus what? 1400 equals my slope, and that's t minus what? 0. This doesn't take very long to do. What is the slope when t is 0? I don't care that there's no t in there. That's irrelevant. It's going to be 1400 minus, there's no calculator allowed. So what is that? It's 1100 over 25. You're right, it's 44, but why would you do that? Because if you do that wrong, you get the points taken back, unfortunately. So I would leave it 1100 over 25. You could even leave it 1400 minus 300 over 25. Because 1400 minus 300 is that. And then, what are we going to do? We want to use the tangent line. I don't know what this function looks like, but I want to use this tangent line. Here's t equal to 0, and here's t equal to 1/4. Okay? Actually, I should have put the part B in there because it's there. We'll do part B. It's not the exact answer, but it's close. So where are you gonna put the 1/4? Plug it in for t. So this isn't bad. That's right. W is 1411. So W minus 1400 equals 1100 over 25 times 1/4. But what's 4 times 25? That's 100. So that ends up being 11. See why this is a non-calculator problem? It's 11, and you could write it out 1400 plus 11 if you don't want to add it. It's kind of crazy because it's not hard to add. But now the next question that I should have put in there is that an underestimate or overestimate? So find the second derivative. So I have dw dt, and this is the part that students got wrong. dw dt, and I think we can, hopefully we'll get this right now, w minus 300. Well, I think I asked you to finish this, didn't I? Let's take the derivative with respect to time. Still the same problem, it's just part B, which I should have copied and pasted it in there because actually it's important. So, nope. That's what everybody said, it's 1/25. Take the derivative with respect to time. So it's 1 over 25, you're right. And you got nothing, and by the way, if you just said it was 1 over 25. Even if you analyzed the rest of the question correctly and you said it was 1/25, you still got 0 out of 2. I didn't think that was quite fair. Girls, put your phone away, please. Guys, I don't want to see phones out. I don't want to see other work out. What's the derivative of w here? But it's with respect to time. It's times dw dt. You know what? I know dw dt, don't I? It's 1/25 times dw dt. What's dw dt? It's right there. 1/25 times w minus 300. What is safe to assume? We're going to ask now if that tangent line is an overestimate or an underestimate. Don't forget to answer the question, Artavan. What do I have to know if it's an overestimate or underestimate? I have to know concavity. What's W in the beginning? 1400. Is the waist ever going to become negative? No. The change in the waist is still going to be positive. It's probably increasing like that. Well, maybe not. This is positive, right? So it's concave what? Up. So it's increasing faster and faster. So there's my concavity, my tangent line here, or even my tangent line here, doesn't matter. This is always underneath. So it's an underestimate. I would be very clear and say W double prime is greater than 0. I would be really clear. I mean, it is clear in this statement because I have everything linked together, but you want to make sure you get your points. But if you just came out with 1/25 and still analyzed that correctly, we didn't give you the point. I didn't think that was really quite fair, but because you were still analyzing it correctly, but they wouldn't do it. Well, let's go ahead and solve the differential equation, because this is an important one to solve. And your quiz involves differential equations, the quiz we're supposed to have today. So dw dt is equal to 1/25. You're taking the quiz Monday. Now, I hope you see that this is PERT, because that's going to be a multiple choice question on the exam for you to recognize PERT. All this is, if I had this as PERT, it would be dp dt is equal to some constant times the population. What would the constant be here? 1/25. Okay, I don't like the fraction. I admit it. You can't, you're going to have to solve it because of this shift here. And they also expect to see the calculus. Even if you know what the answer is, it doesn't matter. Okay, all this is, if I didn't have the 300 there, it's exactly like PERT. But I do have this, and so it's just shifted a little bit, that's all. And I want to say it's horizontally shifted, but it's not. So what's the first step we do? Now you guys, this you got to get cold because this is easy and it's on the free response. It's 5 points. Separate the variables. So the first thing I'm going to do, Artavan, is multiply by dt. I want the dw and dt at opposite sides. Then I know what I have to move. At least I should know what I have to move. I can't have w's and t's mixed up. It says I want t's here. Okay, Carolyn? So what do I do next? I don't want w over here. Leave the constant where it is. Don't mess around with it. So I'll divide by w minus 300. Now you can put the constant on the other side, but then you have to worry about the chain rule. Artavan, question, and I know there's another question. Question? I want w's all the left side, t's all on the right side. So you say, well, there's no t there. You're right. What difference does that make? There's no t in this one either. So I get dw over w minus 300. And somebody might hopefully has their packet because I don't know what the initial conditions were. Oh, yeah, I do. Never mind. 1/25 dt. Okay, so you get 1 point for doing that. And you can have the 25 on this side if you'd like. Doesn't matter. You still get the point. And then what do we do? Artavan, what do we do next? No, leave the 25 over there. Integrate it. The 25 over here will just give you a headache. It's okay. It's not that bad, but on this problem, but on other problems it can be. What's the antiderivative of w minus 1 over w minus 300? What'd you say, Cole? It's the natural log of the absolute value of w minus 300. Make sure you have that absolute value in there. Equals 1/25 times what? t. What's next? Plus c. Guys, 100% of you can add this c in there. But you don't get it if you haven't separated the variables. If you don't separate the variables, you get 0 out of 5. Very easy to grade. And now I have to find c. But I do know the initial conditions, because when t is equal to 0, w is equal to 1400. And guess what? Now there's a t. But if you take the derivative, the t goes away, right? So how would I know if this is right? Take the derivative. So it's the log of, and I don't need absolute value here. It's 1400, because that's obviously bigger than 300, equals 1/25 times 0 plus c. And you should go back and redo this problem, because I've seen this problem many times over the years. It's not yet. So c is the log of 1100. Now, we've got 4 points out of 5, and you're looking at your watch and you're saying, okay, I got 10 minutes left, I got another free response problem to do. You are not going to solve for 1 unless you're very proficient at it. You're going to say, that's worth 1 point. I'll get more points by attempting the next problem, unless you know what to do at all, in which case then you just say, okay, I'll solve this because I know how to do that. Now, I got to go back to put the absolute value in here. But this is only worth a point. You do not need to simplify it. Please don't make the mistake that I saw. Actually, this problem, the people who knew how to do differential equations did very well in this problem. What is it? What are we going to do with both sides? Not each piece, but both sides. E. So this E to this log of the absolute value of w minus 300 is what? Absolute value of w minus 300 equals e to the t over 25. Don't try to simplify it. That log of 1100 is in the exponent. I saw this, e to the t over 25 plus e to the log of 1100. It's multiplied. Oh yeah, but I saw it all the time. So let's finish this up. Then it's time to go. That's e to, and if you want to simplify it, you may. If you don't want to simplify it, you do not have to. So if you don't know that it's that, which is 1100 e to the t over 25, I'm going to simplify it because if you look at the scoring rubric, that's what's going to be there. And so w minus 300 is equal to plus or minus this 1100. So solving for w, you're now going to have to decide, is it the plus or is it the minus? And you have to go by the initial condition. Sometimes it's the minus, even though you think it's not going to be. It's 300 plus or minus 1100 e to the t over 25, and it's got to go through 0, 1400. So I want the plus or do I want the minus? Plus. I would say more often than not, it's going to be the minus. So make sure you check that because they're trying to get you. That's worth 5 points. All of that was worth a point. So you see what I'm saying? That if you get to the end, you're running short of time, don't bother solving for W. It is. Hey, it is time to go. Have a great weekend, you guys. It's going to be a busy one.
Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.